Time now for our community update this morning. Joining us in studio this morning is Menasha Police Chief Timothy Styka. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, with officers working so closely with the public, how has the coronavirus pandemic affected your staff, and what are the plans for vaccinations?
Well, fortunately, we have a local health department in Menasha, and that has really aided their ability to be very responsive. It's kind of like the difference between a local grocery store and a big chain grocery store. You can still get the same thing from both, but by having a local one, we've actually been able to start vaccinating our officers. In fact, got my shot yesterday. Wasn't going to initially, but I ended up getting some advice that I'm really doing it for other folks because, as you had mentioned, we have so much interaction within the community to make sure that our officers, even unbeknownst, because a lot of people obviously can have it and spread it without knowing it, we want to make sure our folks are getting vaccinated and making sure that we're not the cause of spread in the community.
3 state legislators introduced legislation aimed at reforming police use of force and investigations. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, there's so much discussion right now on criminal justice reform, and law enforcement is certainly one piece of that puzzle. The majority of law enforcement is always been open to those discussions, and how can we be serving the communities in the best way that we can. Now, there's a lot of things that go into the use of force investigation. So in Wisconsin, we've been one of the first ones that requires an outside agency to come in when deadly force has been used in an incident. So no longer does the police department just be able to rubber stamp what took place. Another group does come in and do that investigation. Another piece of that legislation has to do with chokeholds. And I would say the vast majority of the departments have already banned chokeholds if they even allowed them to begin with, because of federal legislation or a federal rule that came out that you had to have rules on banning chokeholds in order to be eligible for grants. So a lot of the things that are being discussed about, law enforcement's very, very supportive of. The biggest thing that I think we want to just take a step back from is making those knee-jerk reactions. Obviously, 2020 was a challenging year, but I think everyone's learned a bit more, and we're talking more. And by having those conversations and being able to have those debates at a legislative level, which the legislator and the governor has created a work group that is looking at a lot of these issues and bringing people from across the table to try to find out what are some meaningful reforms that we can have across the board, not just with police, but with the court system, and how offenders have been treated in the past, and is there a better way to do that?
I know there's been a lot of discussion about police using body cameras. Your department uses them. So what are some of the benefits of having those?
Yeah, you know, we started using cameras back when I started 25 years ago. I think our first one was an old VHS camera that was attached to like a radar unit on a squad car. It's a creation by Tim Seaver, who's now the police chief in Fox Crossing, and you're seeing the pictures now of how things have changed and how it's very portable technology. They are very, very good because it gives that objective view as to what took place in an incident. And when you have that objectiveness, it does not become a he said, she said. The other thing that we've noticed, because we've had body cams in Menasha for, oh gosh, well over 10 years now, I would want to say, it just brings another level of professionalism with the officers. They know someone's watching them, and I think that a lot of times it's not what the officers did, it's how they said it. And using our words more appropriately and knowing that there's that thing that is always being used is a wise thing. Now, there are drawbacks, as you mentioned. Cost is probably the biggest one. For our agency, we have 31 sworn officers, and we also equip our CSOs with them, and they run us about $10,000 a year. And that's kind of on the low end. There's some that could run as much as $25,000, $30,000 a year for the size of our department. When you're looking at dollars like that, it's a choice between, do you have body cams or do you update a squad car? And for many agencies, that can be a challenge. The other drawback with it is cameras are two-dimensional. Just as we're talking here today, it's a flat screen. So there have been times that videos have recorded things that officers or even citizens have done that do not give an accurate depiction of it. And I can think of one that didn't happen in Wisconsin, but there is an officer that was struggling with a suspect, and as he was running to help, it looked very clearly from a distance that he kicked this gentleman in the head, and it was horrific, and it was a PR nightmare for the agency and everything that took place with it. However, as they reviewed it and different video and other things came out with it, the officer clearly did not kick the person in the head. So it was a terrible-looking video. It certainly had a wow factor with folks, and then it was dispelled by additional videos. So it can certainly have its pluses and minuses, but overall, they're a very wise thing to have.
All right, Chief. Well, that is all the time we have now. Chief Styka, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your time.